All right. Hello and welcome to the Benzo Rehab Dungeon, episode 52. It is August 6th, 2021. I am your host, Michael Deebs. Joining me, as always, the affable gentleman, Danko Suvin from the Instagram handle at DankDeLuz.
Forgot my name.
I, yeah, I mean,
It's okay.
I'm
I do
switching
it.
between
I do it
like
too.
real names and fake names and identities.
Is there such a name, such a thing as a real name?
No, and we don't have the time to go into that. So we'll say no and leave it there. Also, always joined by super producer John, who is at the Instagram handle Discopathic, and we have a special guest returning for part 2 of our Russian history series, Teddy K.
Howdy, boys.
Starting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Teddy.
No, just saying hi.
Yeah. Starting with Danko. How are you doing today, sir?
Man, I am too tired to do this. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, well you
This
can
is thoroughly relatable content.
you can go
Thoroughly
ahead
relatable.
and call out next time. I guess I don't know. If
Yeah, I'll.
Yeah.
You left the money on the dresser, right? I'll
I
just
did,
pick it up
leave
on my way
money
out.
on as per usual, right next to the can of Old Spice spray and
Perfect.
somewhere near the condoms.
You guys
But
are
man,
getting
I'm doing
paid?
good. I mean,
we
the
consider
Patreon makes like
experience.
$14.
We consider
I get paid
experience to
exposure.
be part.
God
Yeah,
bless.
experience and exposure.
Networking.
Your exposures are on the
here.
desk.
Wait a
No.
minute. Is that what this involves now? All right.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. John, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Now that I'm glad Teddy's back.
Yes,
And,
we're all glad Teddy is back.
Yeah.
We missed
lost
him on the
for
last
a while.
episode.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a last episode actually.
Yeah.
So you thoroughly missed me, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took a week off.
You were so sad that I wasn't there.
There's
You
been
know, I
some...
didn't take a week off.
How was that?
Oh yeah, you didn't because you went on a different podcast, right?
I did. I cheated on you. I went over to the Bringing Down the Grindhouse podcast to talk about witches, of which there will be also 2 episodes.
Yes.
Good man.
This is probably going to be a 3-parter on the Russian history.
Yeah, it is Russia.
Not
so
to one up witches or anything like that, but this is going to be a little bit more involved, I think.
I'm gonna text them.
It doesn't have to be.
I
could blaze through it in a couple minutes. You guys could get back to the regular programming. And then it was cold, and then that's it.
Oh, yeah. And you don't want to attack Russia when it's cold, I've heard.
Or really ever. But that's beside the point. I would venture to say that attacking Russia, I'd say right now is probably one of the best times you can do it, because there's there's very little nationalism happening. Or I guess, we can get into that.
Teddy, I need to check something with you.
What's up?
Because I've actually come under the understanding, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that this whole thing about attacking Russia in the winter is apocryphal, because Russia is so fucking big that these people attempted their assaults far before winter, and it took until winter for them to accomplish much, and then they froze and died.
Okay. I'm going to use an answer that I used in the first episode.
It's complicated.
And say it's much more complicated than that, but reducing it down to the winter is both extraordinarily offensive to Russians. But I mean, whatever. Being offended.
I'm sorry for my crimes against Russia.
Is neither here nor there. But again, Russian nationalists will tell you that it is disgraceful it is insulting to the memory of the Russian soldiers that fought and sacrificed, etc. But oftentimes you will find that for World War II, they didn't automatically leave after the winter of 1941. As a matter of fact, they stayed there for 3 more winters. So it's obviously much more complicated than that. There's getting into Napoleon, which
that's what I was mostly thinking about, right?
We might get to Napoleon today. We might not. But and then World War II and all that stuff. And then again, consider the Finnish War, where the Russians had a hard time in the winter. So again, the Russians are not snow immune +2 cold resistant supermen. They absolutely die from the cold. And as a matter of fact, as a kid, I used to be bundled up fucking hard by my parents. So like whenever I moved to the States, you see the standard, that one fucking white dude in school that's always flip-flopping and like khaki shorts, even in the winter. Oh wait, you guys are from California and Texas. Never mind. But I promise you,
I'm from the mountains of Washington, and I
promise you,
those
there's always
people.
that one dude that comes
Yep.
to school in khakis or khaki shorts and like Birkenstocks in the winter, and it's like, why are you doing that? Whatever, he's got diabetes.
Chicago is about that. The whole Midwest seems to be in competition
Yeah.
about like who puts on the jacket.
But
like,
we are
last,
not that.
You know?
We are not those people. We are the fucking Randys from A Christmas Story. We all cannot put our arms down.
It's a
We
great
bundle.
reference.
That is why we
It's
survive.
why you have the fuzzy hats.
Yes, the
Ushankas.
Ushanka. The Ushanka or plural Ushanki. Yeah, those hats help. And of course, consider this, the Russian winter thing. This is such an excellent lead-in. I love this because it's multi-generational. The Russian winter thing. And I lost my train of thought. Awesome. Cool. Let's move
Russian
on.
winter.
Well, we've gotten a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We are.
Teddy.
Oh, boom. I got it. Fucking ADHD kicked in. It's about historiography. I think we talked a little bit about historiography last time. And because of the Soviet gap from 1919, well, obviously the Soviet Union revolution happens in 1917. The Great October Revolution happens in November 1917. That's why it's the Great October Revolution. We could get into that later. But for this X amount of time, especially after World War II, got the Iron Curtain coming down. You can argue who lowered it, but Soviet sources, Soviet archives, Soviet textbooks, scholarly research, whatever, is not accessible. So who do you rely on for your accounts? You rely on the Germans. Earlier in the Napoleonic Wars, especially Russian language accounts, there's not that many. The private soldiers are mostly illiterate. The people that did write were mostly officers. So not so many accounts. And again, whose sources do you rely on? You rely on the French. You rely on what Napoleon himself wrote. Napoleon was very, very good at creating his own PR story. He's probably one of the world's masters of PR of all times. So
and yet
what
we
happens
still think
is,
of him as short.
yeah, again, which is kind
Which
of
is
odd.
not
Again,
true.
that's mostly a caricatures thing. And again, political
Yeah.
cartoons came into being, or came into huge prominence during the French Revolution and afterwards. Although they were around in Martin Luther's time. Again, you see Martin Luther being portrayed as a pipe organ being played by the devil. Good old Catholicism for you. But and it's weird because Lutherans are these really dour
the original
folk,
Ben
but
Garrison like cartoon.
it's all about the biblical 25%
labeling an organ played by the devil as
For
Martin
God's
Luther.
So historiography is essentially, there it is. You saw it. That was the thing. Yeah, that's Luther. And there's the devil playing him as an organ. Political cartoons, my man. Amazing. Good old Catholicism for you. This is, it's 16th century political cartoons. God bless. So again, you see this historiography being developed by the losers. The French are the best soldiers in the world. Napoleon is the best of the best. The only way he could possibly lose was because of the Russian winter. He couldn't possibly be defeated in battle. Yada yada yada.
He couldn't have accidentally made a couple of bad calls here or there or anything like
horrific
that.
calls, and we'll get into that. My God, how many horrific calls did he make? Again, he was not a moron. Napoleon was completely correctly a genius. He combined like many people have not been able to over the last 2 centuries, the amazing qualities of both statecraft and generalship. You haven't really seen that in the last 2 centuries. You haven't had statecrafter generals that also led countries. He was incredible in that way.
We've really had some weak ass imperialists lately.
Yeah. Well, in some ways, and in some ways they've been incredibly strong. Look at, but communism killed so many people. And, anytime anybody dies from famine nowadays, it's 100% capitalism.
Of course, it's communism.
Look up, and it's actually really hard. I've been looking up famine numbers, and they're hard to get to. Where are they keeping the famine?
Well, they don't call it famine anymore. They call it
it's food insecurity.
Food insecurity now.
But it's something like per year. It's like 191 million
people that
are food insecure.
Fun fact, 50 million Americans suffer from food insecurity.
Yep. How is that a thing?
Well, it's
We talk-
because
I-
it's because of all the socialist measures. And,
That's right. Again, America. What is America's biggest export to this day? Food.
Corn.
Yeah,
Food.
corn, yeah.
Yeah. Again, we'll get into corn because corn used to be just the old English word for all
So before
shit that grows in
no.
the world.
we start jumping
But,
too deep into anything,
Yeah. Oh no.
we
You
haven't
wanted to get erotic.
Oh, yeah.
we haven't asked you how you're
Yes!
doing, Teddy. How are you doing, man?
What do you mean?
How-
My soul is a crumbling
Yeah,
pit
what
of
are you
despair.
doing?
That's
but,
all we need to hear. And then secondly, you
Always have
said before we started recording,
Yes.
there were some errors that you
Yes,
would like
I need to
correct.
get errata with it. So, first of all, I have introduced the very first Romanov as Mikhail Alexeyevich. That was a brazen fucking lie, and I
You
should be crucified for that.
asshole.
He was Mikhail Fyodorovich, of course, and
Oh.
I am an absolute tool bag for not remembering that.
Sorry to
Second of
interrupt
all,
you.
and I'm gonna pick on John now. Is the Dnieper River is spelled with a D. That's Dnieper. This river is the reason I harp on this is A, because I'm a huge piece of shit, and B is because we will return to this river when we get to World War II. It's
You know,
extremely important.
The Dnieper River, or Dnieper in general, that's actually the D word.
Yeah, is it the D word? So,
Yeah.
so whenever anybody's looking for the D, yeah, look at this river. This river bisects Eastern Europe. It runs right through Kiev. It runs all the way down to the Black Sea, therefore the Crimea, therefore Byzantium, therefore
Oh, yeah.
the Ottoman Empire, therefore the exit to the Mediterranean. It's extremely important.
It's a dope river.
Yeah,
And
again, so
where
you see-
are the Russians getting all this water from?
Oh, geez. Well, it's the Ukrainians now. That's why they want it back, because it's the Ukrainians that get all this shit now.
Well, I mean,
Um,
back in the day when Russia owns it.
Again, you see, remember we talked about
Melted
settlements being on rivers. This is kind of the movement from rivers towards hilltops, et cetera, et cetera. I guess Moscow has its own river. It's got the Moscow River. Go fucking figure. But there's also the Oka River, and Moscow flows into the Volga, and Volga flows into the Caspian Sea, of course. So, but that's kind of a dead end sea. You don't really get out of there. You trade with all the Central Asian stuff, and with Persia, nowadays known as Iran.
Yeah,
again,
what's
Iran,
up with the
Iran just
Caspian Sea? Who
what's
needs a
getting
Caspian Sea? This is nonsense.
well, the best
Shitty
Russian movie
sea.
of all time takes place not on the Caspian Sea, but on the Aral Sea. But
See?
the best Russian movie ever made, bar none. I will not take arguments to the contrary. Is the White Son of the Desert, which is a Russian. So it was a Soviet Ostern, which is like our version of a Western. You get
right, in Eastern.
so,
yeah.
and it takes place during the Russian Civil War in the like deep south of Russia, in the desert, essentially. So the best Russian movie of all time is not about snow; it's about a desert. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it to everyone. It's available for free because Soviet movies are available for free on YouTube. Just
Okay.
type in "The White Son of the Desert" and enjoy it. It's my favorite movie. It should be everyone's favorite movie. But
It is everyone's favorite movie.
I'll
It is
watch
very-
it,
it is-
and
it's
I'll
every-
give an update on how I feel about it.
yeah, they have it's White Son of the Desert. They have English subtitles. God bless. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
does look like an Eastern.
Yeah, it's about this one dude, and he's essentially like James Bond and Rambo baked into one thing. This one dude takes down like no shit, like 250 people. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So it's good shit, man. I it's both guilty pleasure and harkening back to the hometown. Every Russian, I don't care who you are, every person from the former Soviet Union can quote this movie. Like
It's their
like
Dante.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like our Ricky Bobby, but it's like our Anchorman, but better.
Mm.
There's obviously some problematic parts, and you get into the Muslim culture and stuff a little bit, but of course this is a movie from the 70s or early 80s, I believe. So yeah, there's my movie recommendation of the
Awesome, and
the
it
week.
does look like it's from the 70s, according to
Yeah, there you go.
1970 actually. Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So decent cinematography. It's a nice action movie, but yeah, again, not a huge amount of thinking needed. It's good times. Anybody that has questions about the movie can write me at. There you go. So
Is he writing it down on the?
oh, please don't ever contact me. Don't ever contact me. All right. But yeah, I have a career.
Don't look at me.
I have a
do
job, guys. I have a career. I don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Career
Oof.
brag. Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What's
no,
it like?
it's no, I can't stand it. But
Okay, so
that's-
when we left off on the last episode, we left off on Peter the Great, and you said that you would want to go
yes,
a little bit deeper into Peter.
Yes.
A little
Peter the Great, as
little,
everyone.
a
Again,
little
I wanna
more
get so deep
inside.
into
just
Peter.
the
Yeah.
just the sobriquet. I bet he would probably enjoy it. The man was awesome. We talked about some of the stuff that he liked to do, and one of the things he liked to do with his buddy, the King of Poland at the time,
Yeah, just roommates,
whose
right?
name escapes me, is they would yeah, the whole vomiting thing. I think that might be a thing, but this is confirmed. The confirmed historical thing is they would weigh their guests on a scale before they came over for the party, and then after the party they would weigh them again. And that was
That's
like
unironically
that
awesome.
was
I like
that was
that.
funsies for the two kings.
I would do
Now the-
that.
Was
Yeah.
this
I'm
like
gonna
a
do that.
hogging thing? Like
No, they would just try
they're trying
like,
to hook
out-eat.
up with the
They would
fattest
out-eat.
guest.
Oh,
Here's what I'm gonna do.
obviously. Well,
Here's what I'm
Peter
gonna
could
do.
hook up with anyone, obviously.
I'm gonna weigh people as they enter into my home, and as they exit, I'll weigh them again, and then charge them.
Yeah.
by the well, I guess it would be by the
But
pool.
That's actually what they do at Hometown Buffet now.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, do they still have
Just a
those?
row of.
I think they
row
do.
of
I don't know.
scales.
Is that
They
like
do.
that's
They
like
do.
the Golden Corral of the West, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
God bless it. Oh, God
I'm
bless
pretty
it.
sure they still exist. I don't know.
Oh no, I've never
They're
actually been
rare,
to one.
but I think
I've
they're
never actually been to a
franchised,
Golden
so-
Corral. I feel like I would.
So you
Catch
could
fire.
you could hide in a golden corral long enough. They're so big that you could like then take a shit if they weighed you
Yeah.
and not pay and probably pay nothing. 'cause,
God
you know,
bless. If that is
you
that
could
the
just
way?
keep moving
We
to-
Is that
actually
how
owe
you
you
pay?
money.
Is that how you
Yeah.
pay at the Golden Corral? Is they weigh you afterwards? And that's- they should do that. Absolutely.
I'm so delirious after going to a golden corral. I can't remember much about how you actually check out. I only remember the experience.
It's just a blur from them.
Yeah, no, I've never met so many like servers because there's like 200 of them and they're like
Yeah.
all older women.
So bizarre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
That's
and,
America, folks.
yeah, and all
Yeah.
the older
Oh.
Asian ladies work together and all the older Mexican ladies work together.
God.
Man, they've
There's
got
a
clicks
race war
inside
by
of
the
the.
potatoes.
Oh, yeah. So the Polish king, the king of the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth at the time, his name was August the Strong. So again,
He's
you have these-
august and strong.
yeah, is August Moshny, I guess is his Polish name. But the moral of the story is these are both 6 foot some dudes. They're strong as shit, and what they enjoy to do is like they take like a fire poker, and then Peter will like bend it and tie it into a knot, and then August will unassemble it, and that's how they have fun together. You know, like that's just how they hang out. That's how they bro out. Again, it's kind of rare because again, Poland and Russia have been fighting for
they
their-
sleep in the same bed and
Actually, they do have times during which Peter takes August by the hand and they go walk away.
So
But
good.
this is when they discuss alliances. Actually, there's some legit shit that
Yeah.
happen there.
Hey, bro, what if we could just do this forever?
Again, yeah, no, these dudes are well renowned by their love of drink, eating, doing just strongman shit, and of course,
And cock.
of course, women.
Oh, sorry.
August the
Wrong.
Strong. August had something like 300 bastard children.
Nice.
Like
That's a lot
no
of work.
fuck. He was no fucks. And then of course Peter had
Well.
he was actually Peter again had a bunch of mistresses, but all of his children ended up dying. Some of them tragically, like disease and
All
shit. Like there was only
600 of
the one son that he tortured to death. And that's kind of a bad look. Essentially, since his kids had kind of a like they tended to die. So they just hung out, Yeah, so that's August with the by this time kind of out of style wig, by the way. That kind of doofy Isaac Newton wig. That was kind of going out of style. It was a
Oh,
little bit
the middle
passé.
part wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah, no. See, Peter didn't wear a wig. He had his own hair. But again, Peter's a really weird dude. He was, he had this grand embassy after after his sister was done trying to kill him. He embarked upon this grand embassy in person. A king going in person to visit other, it's very extraordinarily rare. I can't really think of other times when somebody would do this. But he tried to go incognito. This fucking simple fuck. Again, he actually was an incredibly smart guy, but he decided to go incognito. This 6 foot fucking 7 dude that everyone knows is extremely tall went incognito as like a bombardier. Like, oh, I'm just the gunner. And everyone fucking knows, like, this is clearly the Tsar of Russia. But he's like, oh no, I'm just the bombardier.
Just-
Yeah, so he went as like a. And the interesting thing about him is he actually learned his trades. Like when he was a kid, he stood in line and he learned how to work a cannon. He actually was a bombardier in his own fucking elite regiment.
So technically not lying, I guess, right?
No, absolutely not. He was absolutely a bombardier. The highest rank he ever allowed himself to be in, a bit before he became the chief of the regiment or whatever, was he was a captain in the Preobrazhensky regiment, was like his first regiment or whatever they had. He grew up essentially with toy soldiers, except the toy soldiers were men. They were actual dudes. Again, they were mostly kids around his age, just living around him. A lot of them were sons of nobility, but a lot of them were just village boys. And he ended up training them to become his first elite guard regiments. And these guys, as we'll go into the Great Northern War, these guys never broke. Even when the entire army broke and ran, these guys held firm. And that's why, the Russian Guard, and eventually when he declares himself emperor, these guys are really important. And they will be really important for the next 280 years. Until, of course, in World War I, they all get sent to the front and just get chopped to fucking pieces.
Oh man, war changed, huh?
Yeah.
War constantly changes.
Yeah, war is always changing in regards to new technology. War is absolutely always changing. What you fought with yesterday is not how you fight today.
I'm sorry to draw this back to such a pointless thing, but
hit me.
You know how the U.S. used to have the political party, the Whigs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was there.
I really like to imagine that, and I know this isn't what it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm clarifying that, because I'm going to say something absurd and stupid.
Oh, please do. I need to hear this more.
But I wish that they designed it the same way, that it's like a game of shirts versus skins, where it's just like wigs versus skins,
wigs versus scalps.
Wigs versus
of course
scalp.
They were spelled different.
They
were spelled differently, of course.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah,
I slowed down the joke and made it less funny so I could clarify that I knew that.
I like the wig. I like the wigs in Britain. British wigs were wonderful. They were, kind of liberal-ish. The Whigs, the Whigs, they were, again, liberals being a very heavily as opposed to the fucking Tories, who are trash.
And liberal-ish is going to be my new kind of lame
curse word.
Comedy Central. No, like my Comedy Central show. It'll just be liberal-ish.
Liberals, but it's with puppets, like crank calls or whatever, and it's
exactly
just potty words.
And we just say Trump.
Got him.
That's
got him. Oh, I need all CEOs should be. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Well.
Anyway.
So these boys, they're big, right?
Yeah. Again, well, he's not he's not Friedrich the First. That dude, and Friedrich the Great, gay man. Total fucking Chad. He's a gay man. He's like, man, I should really marry these whatever, but they're not. That's not really my style. He loved Friedrich was cool, but again, he's not really on our topic yet until we get to the 7 Years' War. He's an interesting dude. Again, this. Oh, we've never had gay. They've always been gay people. Anyway,
just some people claiming we just evolved.
I don't know, dude. I'm. Again, thankfully, I'm not not confronted with this in my regular day-to-day life. I work in a scientific field, but people I work with are genuinely intelligent, and I'm super thankful for that. I'm probably one of the dumbest people at work. Unironically, just these people are fucking brilliant.
So none of them think that gayness evolved in the last couple centuries.
Oh God! Again, you ask a Russian nationalist from today, and they might tell you some other shit. It's imported. It's all it's imported. Just like the whole gayness comes from Western Europe. And there's no recorded gayness in Africa. And there's no recorded gayness in Asia.
Is Russia a country that doesn't think that serial killers are a thing outside of America?
Well,
I'm not sure about that. We've had some serial killers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that'd be a hard one
to. Is it something that's recognized as a thing that's common enough?
I think Americans are just obsessed with serial killers, just like they're obsessed with prison sex in general. Again, this whole prison homosexuality thing is a big thing in America.
Oh yeah, it was.
This obsession with it, like, oh, yeah, like it's not a thing in prisons in the rest of the world. Rather, of course, there's always going to be homosexual relations in every sphere of society at every level. It's because, again, it is a normal thing. But
Now, how do we
Americans
fix
are
it?
extraordinarily preoccupied with it, and it's very strange. And the reason, like, the first time I ever heard anybody give voice to it was actually the video game Grand Theft Auto 4, and I was like, ha! But yeah, they were all about it. Again, so again, you will have historians that fucking die and say, oh, no Russian king or anything was ever gay. Whatever.
Yeah.
I am sure that Peter the Great got down with whatever.
Because
Because
More
Peter the Great liked to live. He liked
More
to
like
live.
Peter the Gay, am I right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He got
Just
down.
a really
got
lame
down, dude.
episode
He's-
of Come Town.
Hey, whatever. There it be. Yeah.
I really want to retcon like all of these historical characters into being just like they are all like Black women of color,
There you go.
unlike
Oh,
other women of color.
So you
or-
wanna pull
well, yeah.
you wanna pull Lin-Manuel
Well, I
They're all
think that-
Miranda?
trans.
I don't know. I don't want
Yeah.
to get too deep into that because I think that, that takes
Except-
away from actual people of color that have actually done stuff.
No, forget
But,
that. And Malcolm X, white.
You know what's funny is I've actually started working on this meme
my.
series that I have yet to release where I'm
God.
taking a bunch of liberal like characters, especially like POCs, like shit libs, and and I'm doing like a phrenological study of what
Oh,
their,
no.
their
Oh.
actual
Oh,
actual
no.
taxonomy is. So
In
so
fucking Goebbels'
far-
basement.
so far I have
Jesus
things
Christ.
like Lin-Manuel Miranda is a straight white
Oh.
woman.
There
Oh,
you
that's so good. Yeah.
And Candace Owens is a cis white man.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, what is? Yeah.
Yeah. God bless.
Oh,
That's so good.
Oh,
Yet
Lin-Manuel's
to
cool,
be
man.
released because I want to make like a substantial amount of them before I put it out. Mostly to muddy the conversation because I
Yeah.
know some shit libs are gonna
Jeez
get mad
Louise.
at me.
Good stuff. Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyways,
isn't that why we're here? To have people get mad at us?
Yeah.
Oh, your
That's
internet
why I'm
connection
here,
is
yeah.
unstable. Oh no. So if I drop out, whatever, just proceed. Just insert something.
To start asking one
Just-
another about Russian history we don't
Yeah.
know.
And just wrong answers only. All right.
Michael, tell me about the 7 Years' War.
oh
So,
well, it was
It
Um,
actually
it was
lasted
actually
8
8
years.
years. Yeah.
So, again, people that
Please,
are
yeah.
knowledgeable, people that are even partly knowledgeable about Russian history, will tell you that the Great Northern War, the whole goal of it was to result with a port city or access to the sea for Russia.
Hmm.
The thing about it is, yes, at the time it was occupied by Sweden, but people forget that this was already occupied by Russia earlier. It was, these lands were occupied by Russia or, whatever Russian principalities, whether they be Pskov or Novgorod or whatever, these were lands from way before. So this isn't new. Again, this wasn't something, oh, Russia is now a thing. But at the time, Sweden is either at the height of her power or very close to it. They have this rivalry going on with Denmark, which is, of course, currently the overlord of Norway. So it's not just tiny ass Denmark fighting Sweden. It's Denmark, which at this time includes Norway, but also Iceland. But fuck them. Nobody really cares. I love Iceland. Iceland's a wonderful place. But I hesitate to say when they were a huge factor in European relations. Again, they were ballsy enough to separate themselves from Denmark when the Nazis came and took them over. That's when they actually declared their independence. So God bless them. But
this just makes me think about how, despite the jokes that we've made thus far, the only kind of racism that's funny is Scandinavians that hate other Scandinavians.
yes,
It's fucking
Absolutely.
hysterical.
oh my God,
Dude, I
there's
used to
huge
be-
issues.
You're
No, I
not
know.
the real Scandinavian.
I used to be
There's actually
like,
huge
huge
controversy.
into
Go
black
ahead, yeah.
metal, and so like I knew largely online, but also like some in person, like a bunch of Scandinavians that were all like really proud of their own their own ethnic metal, I guess, and just the things that like Swedes would say about Norwegians would say
Göteborg's
about.
metal is far better
Oh,
than Skåne
It's
metal.
so funny. I love it so much.
Please
And
don't
of
go to
course-
Scandinavian racism. You'll get to a lot of black
Sure.
metal. Oh no.
It's just burning churches.
Oh
yeah.
no, it's just Which man, again,
God
I hate
damn.
religion, but goddamn, those churches are pretty. Why would you do that?
The
Anyway,
visual whitening of Estonians, very nice.
Jesus Christ.
We're just
Yeah.
we're just
Nice.
attacking everyone today.
Yeah.
Mostly
Good.
ironically.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves to be attacked because
Especially
everyone
the-
is shit. As we found out
Oh,
traveling
man.
through Russian history,
no lives matter.
everyone at every single point was shitty, and they are even shittier today.
Yeah,
But they
that's
were
true.
also not
That's
stupid.
true.
They were
Yes.
also
No. Okay.
good.
Yes. Okay. Back to the primary
Yes.
point of this.
Which is
People
one
in
final
the
point.
past were
One
not
final
stupid.
point. One
Yeah.
final point. There's
No,
huge
please.
controversy with IKEA, our favorite fucking Scandinavian oppressor.
Oh, are they doing the
Um,
whole Wayfair thing with the kids
No,
now?
no,
or-
I'm not sure about that. You'll have to talk
They're
to
putting kids
the
in
basement. The
boxes?
fucking basement of the pizza place might have better answers for you. But no.
So what's
apparently
happening with
a
IKEA?
lot of that. Well, this is earlier, I think, but I think it might still be a thing. Apparently, when IKEA names their products, it's not just word salad. They're literal, like either locations or concepts in the Swedish language.
Right.
But they apparently, allegedly, name poorer quality content, again, IKEA, who'd have thunk, against locations that are geographically in Denmark, and
That's
things
very
that are
funny.
that are more quality, quote unquote, from locations that are in Sweden.
That just
So,
rules.
God bless. Again, just
You
if
see,
you if,
I- I'd be bothered if it was like an American company and they would name things like that were nice after, like states on the East Coast, and then like things
Yeah.
were shitty, like
the
provinces
Bel-
in Mexico.
but I was just
the
about
fact
to
that
say
it's Canadians doing it it's no, sorry, not
Yes, the-
Canadians. Scandinavians doing it, so it's very funny. I don't give a fuck.
the Lake Forest couch is far superior to the Juarez couch.
You're right. Actually, that is kind of funny.
It's a bargain bin, baby.
You have to overpronounce it too. The Juarez count.
Juarez. I love it. God bless, guys. I love everyone. This is it's just fuck. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
the worst
Hell yeah.
state in Mexico.
The state
I
of
can't imagine
Chihuahua.
it's somewhere in the south. In the south, they have self-government. They have anarchists in the south. So good.
There you go.
They have natives and Commandante Marcos and all that shit. We like that. We like
at
all
that same well, we were talking about this before the pod, so I'll leave that out. But I was at a party not too long ago, and
What do you fucking do?
I know.
Look at you.
I touched a
ahead.
girl's boobs once. Once, not there though, not at parties. That's nerve-wracking. But I was trying to tell people that like anarchist communes like exist now and they do fine.
100%. Yeah.
Like especially like Greece and shit.
Denmark.
Like they're fucking everywhere and they do pretty well.
Everyone wants to talk shit about Slab City, but they don't talk about Denmark's fucking. There's one in Copenhagen, and they're doing amazingly
Really?
well.
Okay, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
But people are just amazed by it. They're like, no, there aren't. It's like, oh, what the fuck is going on? What do you read?
Because the big media don't tell you about it.
The mainstream, the
Oh,
lamestream
for
media.
God's sake. You
I
got to
mean,
get your
are we
information
wrong?
somehow. I mean, in a way, yeah. You still have to have exposure to news.
Yeah.
I'm actually
you
gonna
need to-
kick Teddy out since he just
Oh
approved
no!
of the
He just
mainstream
defended
media.
CNN.
Yeah, well, fuck that, dude. No.
He was just like,
I used to be like,
MSNBC is all I watch.
no, God, no. I used to be like Al Jazeera and BBC, but everybody has a slant. Everybody has
Yeah.
a slant. So,
Yes.
I guess whatever. Like the quick fucking 2 cents version is Reuters and Associated Press, but even then, because
Yeah.
they're the ones that actually go and take pictures and like are actually there, and then they sell the news story to the people.
No, the key
yeah,
for,
Reuters and
for
Associated
news
Press.
is, and that's good. That is good. But the real key to understanding the news and getting like objective-ish information
Is
from
to
it.
first be
is
educated
to-
yourself.
Well, yeah, but then to read so much of it that your life becomes a miserable hellhole and you never want to look at words or people ever again.
Guilty. Anyway.
That's me.
It's like, I've read 37 conflicting opinions on whether or not the president took a shit today. And
Hey,
I'm
welcome.
gonna shoot myself.
You know
in the
what?
mouth.
You're doing history in real time.
Yep.
Can you imagine how much
I
more
only
fucking
check.
difficult it's going to be doing history on our current era?
Dude,
My
yes.
God. Can you imagine how many
Yes.
sources you're going to have to read? Fuck.
Well, you only need one source,
Right.
which is Snopes.
Freedom
.com.
freedomeagle.us.
I was like, man, he's gonna make like a Fox News joke or something. And you know what? You won. You did much better than I thought you would, Michael.
No, we
Well
need
done.
we need the independent fact checkers to
God's
come
sake.
in and tell us what's real.
You know,
Unfortunately-
that's the real problem, is that it's so much funnier to make fun of libs than it is to make fun of conservatives, because everyone's just like, fucking conservative.
I mean, they wear everything on their sleeve. Yeah, it's.
But with libs, it's just like fucking snobs, and everyone gets
An independent fact checker told me that this is actually false information.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Imagine
God.
being that kind of person. Fucking,
Oh man,
fucking
I mean,
dumb. I don't know. I wasn't always a leftist.
we weren't
so-
always.
oh
based.
yeah, no, we all I
I've been
think at
cringe
some
before.
point, you know,
I
had
have.
that period where we were like, we all at some point had that period where we were like, yeah, I looked at this. Snopes says it's fake. PolitiFact says it's fake.
Yeah.
For a while,
and
like,
then
Snopes says
now
it's fake
now
was
we're
the only
reaching
response you
well,
had, you know?
we're reaching
Everything-
like a point where like sites like
That
Snopes and
faith.
PolitiFact will be like, did Joe Biden say such and such, and it'll be like false, and then they'll like quote what he actually said, and it's like, no, he pretty much said what you're claiming is false that he said.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah. So really quickly, here's a crazy theory, but I and that sounded sarcastic when I said it, but I this is a thought I'm having.
Okay.
What if our like social, this is a total Joe Rogan thing though. What if our social immune system is that we pick up thoughts and ironize them into the common discourse until they're so normalized that having the opinion or not having the opinion becomes somewhat obfuscated, and then eventually it just leads to people where it's just like, yeah, I mean, of course kids are being sold in Wayfair cabinets, and fucking getting vaccinated is gay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just got vaccinated because you know what? This is just insane, and everything I live in is ironic.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
the
don't know.
post-ironic Overton window, I think.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah.
what you're just-
That
it's-
everything is so
it's-
ironic that it leads to post irony,
Yeah.
and then it's just
But
like,
honestly, in the end,
same
anytime I see a news story and it's like, this awful person has done this horrible thing, and my reaction isn't outrage. It's like, of course they fucking did.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
a way that sucks, because that's the extent of my reaction.
yeah.
I don't want
one
anything
story,
more. I don't demand change or justice anymore. I'm just like, well, of course they're shitty. Like, and
one
what?
story
Like,
that always haunts me is that I remember I read something where someone stabbed their roommate to death like over a brownie, and I was like, damn, that's nuts. And I could
you just
see it
moved on with your
happening
life. Yeah.
because I would absolutely assault someone over dishes at some point. Like if everything aligned correctly,
Yeah.
then that could happen. And I'm just
It's
like,
all
oh, okay,
because
well,
we-
just everyone's insane. Just
It's all
everyone's
because we-
fucking nuts.
It's because we use people and love things.
Oh,
There it is.
bro.
Oh man.
dang.
We just hit
Wow.
upon it.
One day
yeah.
I'll
is
have
that-
to tell a terrible
Jesus
story
Christ.
I have about roommates and brownies. And,
You're gonna tell it right now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
This
I
is
have
not a
permission.
good Russia episode.
no.
We'll get back into
We'll
it.
get
This
back
could
to
be
it.
a 4-hour. This could be a 4-hour episode. I should.
So
never
I
start
had
talking. I'm
this,
super sick.
We're too tired to talk about history, I think.
Yeah.
Before I joined the United States Marine Corps,
God bless.
Semper
God
Fidelis,
bless.
Semper Fidelis, do or die, oorah,
Please stop.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I was liking it.
I was
It was
going
exotic.
to I was going to college and I
Yeah.
was studying English, one of my many failed degrees, and I worked like a graveyard shift because I was going to school during the day.
But it was literally in a graveyard though. So
Yes, it was literally
true.
in a graveyard. No,
It was called Iraq.
I was
Yeah.
working overnight
Oh.
at a grocery store, stocking shelves, whatever. Anyways, kind of besides the point. But I was like living paycheck to paycheck. Didn't have a whole lot going on except for like school. And one night, like I worked a little bit extra time, and when I got the paycheck, I was like, aha! I don't have to eat just ramen for this month. I can eat ramen and also buy my favorite ice cream, which I haven't had in a year and a half now because I'm always broke.
I'll eat ramen with eggs.
With egg. I was going to say one. You can have one egg.
No, I decided on buying my favorite ice cream with this little bit of extra money I had. We're talking like a margin of like a couple of dollars.
Was it a Choco Taco?
No, it was mint chocolate chip ice cream because that's the best kind of ice cream.
I actually looked forward to Choco Tacos after getting back from Okinawa because they didn't have them in Okinawa.
This isn't about
and I tried a
you.
Choco Taco and it was
This
the worst.
isn't about you, Teddy.
All you people.
I know. Go ahead.
So anyways, I buy this pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream and I put it in my freezer, and because I worked at a grocery store, so I bought it at the grocery store I work at. Got off my shift and immediately I had a class in the morning. So I get home, throw it in the freezer, go to my class, and then I have a couple other classes. And by the time I get home, I'm like, can't wait to have that mint chocolate chip ice cream. Well, one of my roommates had opened up my chocolate chip ice cream, my mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Buddy.
And not only did they eat directly out of the fucking carton.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, already bad. So, fun fact about me, I think peanut butter is the most disgusting fucking food like ever. I can't fucking stand this shit.
Yeah, you're a psychopath.
We can talk about what's wrong with me later. This isn't
You're
about that.
You're not a base lifter, are you?
I hate peanut butter so much. Anyways, they took a spoon of peanut butter and dug out my fucking ice cream straight from the fucking carton with this peanut butter spoon. And it's something that they did all the time with their own ice cream, so I knew it was them.
Oh my God.
So what I did, and they were always like stealing food and shit all the time, and everybody in the house knew it, but this was like too far for me. Like this was something that I was like cherishing, and I ended up just throwing the carton away in like anger. So what I did is with like my few remaining dollars is I bought some brownie mix and some X-Lax.
Oh, hell yeah.
I bought the chocolate X-Lax and I
People
made
have died
X-Lax.
this way.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
nobody told me about that before I did this. I didn't kill this person, but nobody told me about that.
I think I know why you joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah. So I made X-Lax brownies. I made X-Lax brownies, and I still gave them the like opportunity to not be a piece of shit. And I like put them on a plate after they were done cooking.
You marked them Deebs.
Yeah.
No,
Deebs
I put like some saran wrap over the top, and I wrote a note saying, "Hey, these are for my family. Please don't eat them.
It's soup for my family."
Yeah. So like all the stops were taken to like make sure that like if somebody had second thoughts about eating these brownies, they wouldn't eat them. And I told everyone in the house, hey, these brownies are like X-Lax poison, so don't eat them.
Yeah.
So I a day or two passes and like 5 of the brownies are missing, even though I left a note saying that they were for my family.
Oh my God.
And
so in succession, like despite
room,
the X-Lax.
Yeah, my room was pretty close to the bathroom of the household that I was living in, and I woke up one morning to hearing like what was basically sobbing as somebody like shit their fucking brains out on the toilet, and then like took like multiple showers, and then went immediately from the shower to shitting their brains out. And,
that's awesome.
So that's my brownie story.
Hell yeah, dude.
We can just close it right here. We can just close it right here.
We got to get back to Russia, guys. Come on.
Oh, Russia. Why are you in such a Russia?
I have.
Why are you Russian?
Get off the stream. Get off the stream. No, no, I have absolutely nothing that can ever compare to something like that. But, he's gone.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. He always
come back.
Yeah. So again, Russia needs this. How do I follow that up? I don't know.
I'm
sure you have some kind of poop story about Russia.
So we have serfs, right? And they live in poop, but actually they're smart and want what's good for their families.
They want to
so they have
poop.
They have an extremely rich internal life and maintain deep roots to their traditionality, religion, and the land.
They just have to work
also,
to
time
survive.
is cyclical for them. I think we covered this. They take care of their elderly because that's what you're supposed to do. You have multifamily homes, but all of a sudden, Peter ties him to the land because he needs bodies for his fucking army.
There you go.
And because his father, Alexei Mikhailovich, have invited Germans into the German district, and you have all sorts of cannon makers and smiths and all sorts of foreign experts. You have what is essentially a ready-made officer corps. That, and he, during his grand embassy, negotiates not only with the kings, but with courtiers. And he's like, hey, I'll fucking pay you. Come on over to my service. I'll pay you whatever better than they're paying you here. You get to be an officer, you get to be a general. And we'll hang out. Again, your weird Protestant shit, that's cool with me. A lot of Germans come over this way. That's why we have a interesting kind of German nobility thing starting at this time. Again, the Russians did not trust them. This will make itself known both early on in the war and at later points in Russia. You have this kind of an injection of a foreign class of nobility, which obviously is hugely imbalances things. But we go to war. He kind of fakes people out in that he seemed to be gathering allies for a war against the Ottomans, which was again super common. But instead, in secret, he begins negotiations with specifically August the Strong, who is actually the elector of Saxony that gets elected to the Polish kingdom, because in Poland, it's the fucking Wild West. You guys have heard of the Sejm, you've heard of their electorate system, you've heard of their golden veto. Any member of the nobility, even fucking Joe Blow with nothing to his name, as long as he's a noble, as long as he's part of the Szlachta, can veto any motion proposed by anyone. Nothing ever gets done, essentially. So you have to pay massive bribes to get elected as king. You have to pay massive fucking bribes to get anything done, including the raising of war taxes and levying troops. Now, granted, the Polish nobility love to fight.
Gotta spend money to make money, am I right?
The Polish nobility love to fight, especially the poor nobility, because that is their main method of existence. Oftentimes, the Polish nobility
that's how
is
they would make it rich, right?
Essentially, and also there's a lot proportionally. There is a large amount of nobility in Poland. Every fucking Sally and Dick and Harry is a noble. But at the same time, you have these huge. Yes, oof, thickness. Again, look up that wig picture again. That boy loved.
Look up Harry Dick Sally. Don't look that.
There you go, dude. He was all about it. So again, this guy's a German. August is a Saxon that gets elected to be the king of Poland. I guess he must have fucking greased enough palms. Plus, he was a super fun dude to hang out with. Obviously, we talked about the shit he would get into. So nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, check her out.
This is a family show, guys.
Wow.
Come on.
That's a mommy.
Anyway,
we are
moving along.
We are one half a scroll away from seeing some things that I'm gonna have to censor.
Yeah, no, is safe search on? All right. So again, the odd thing about this is, and it's actually important to remember, is this guy's a Saxon. His hereditary lands lie in Saxony, but he's also the king of Poland.
Sounds ambitious.
But the alliance, the Northern Alliance, is Russia at this time, just a kingdom, a tsardom. It's not an empire yet. Denmark and Saxony, which by extension means Poland. It's not Poland exactly, but it's by extension means Poland. And they handle this shit while they're, bending over fucking nails and whatever they, all the fun shit they do. Every once in a while, they do go off and they conduct actual business. Everyone thinks that they're probably being gay or whatever, and that's totally chill. But while they're doing that, they're actually conducting solid alliances.
Yeah, you can have business and pleasure at the same time.
Absolutely, fucking right. Again, Russian nationalists would be like, "Oh my god, a gay Russian? What?"
Honestly,
it's like in Sochi, where the mayor of Sochi was like, "We don't have gays here," and the video shows him standing in front of the gay bar in Sochi. It's amazing. It's so incredible.
Honestly, it's a little gay not to appreciate the male form.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about it.
What are you trying to hide by
body hair
resisting the male form, right?
Seriously. Yeah. Hey, it'd be like that. So again, he has his grand embassy. He goes to England. Actually, he tries to make overtures with England, but England's like, you know what? We just need trade open. So, at the same time, war creates business opportunity. So in a way, England's like, no, we're not going to ally you, but you go at it, my man. So, because again, war lowers prices in some ways, it raises other prices for others. England's all about it. Again, he tries to negotiate with other people. In the Netherlands, he has huge amounts of success. That's where he learns the shipbuilding trade. Because at one point, for like 3 or 4 months, he's like, I want to learn how to build a ship. And he just works as a dude on the fucking wharf at building ships. Because that was his, like, if he had a hobby, it would be the Navy. Like, he had like statecraft, which like, I need to do this. And then like for funsies, he would do naval shit.
So you're telling me this guy really liked the Navy?
Oh yeah. Again, the picture's coming. The picture's coming together. I mean, it should come together pretty quick.
What are your hobbies? I like to collect stamps. I like Navy.
I like Navy. Build me a Navy.
Those boys on the ships sure do have.
The original order or whatever. And Mike, you'll probably remember this. There's the Congressional Act passing. We need a Marine Corps or whatever. And it's probably this complicated colonial English where it's like, be it resolved that therefore McButtfuck whatever. Like, but when Peter the Great resolves to create a navy, he is like, seafaring vessels are to be. That is the language of his fucking order.
I love
He's
it.
like, seafaring vessels are to be. And then motherfuckers have to fall over themselves trying to build fucking navy because he said so. It's the law. Everything that the king says is the law.
I feel like that's like an early form of like bureaucracy and how like unintended language like ends 100%. Up with these like weird results of like, I don't know, the paper says that the Navy has to be, so we got to make more ships.
Everything the monarch says is also law. So you have
that's exactly what bureaucracy is like all these like
eventually
these
you'll
like
have a dude named
laws.
Spiransky. Yeah, eventually you have a dude named Spiransky in the early 19th century that actually combines a combined tome of all the laws of the Russian Empire. So he goes back into the records and all these weird shit, like all the weird like queen laws, like you can't beat your rug within a mile of Buckingham Palace or whatever, all the weird shit that they have now. He went and he compiled all the tome of laws of the Russian Empire. And that was extremely, cutting the beards. Yes, there he is. Fuck them beards. Yeah. Everybody had to shave their beard. Yeah, it was great.
No, man, I wouldn't.
Shaved chits. No shaved chits did not exist.
My chin ends here.
Yeah. Oh my God, you have one of those diseases.
For listeners, it ends on my lip.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have far too many chins to count, so I also wear a beard. No, that is that stereotypical picture of the foreign barber, and of course a barber at the time was also a surgeon. So this dude would fucking put leeches on you and bleed you when you needed it to. So the dude with the beard is very justifiably scared because this dude can absolutely do some weird medical shit on him. So
barbers. The barber pole, isn't it red and white for like blood and bandages?
I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that. I don't know because it's never been used in Russia, so I don't know.
Whatever, you guys don't have like old Americana barber shops in Russia?
No, everything. No, it's all Germanic. So we have Feldschers. So
man, I love felching.
Oh my God!
No,
this is devolving.
We all know
this is devolving hard. Yeah, so a Feldscher would be like a sawbones, like the equivalent. FELDSHER.
Make sure you spell it right when you Google it.
FELDSHER.
It was FELCHER.
That's a Feldscher. That's a German term for essentially a surgical assistant. That's what we had.
Oh, okay.
This was like a rank in the Russian fucking hierarchy back in the day.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good. That's very.
Where were we in the Russian history of this?
What's going on now?
It's all again. He decides to build a navy.
The navy will be.
It's a side, but naval vessels are to be. Morskim sudam быть. That is literally that is the Russian infinitive, or what is that? Fucking
imperative?
It's infinitive to be. It is literally to be. They are to be. So.
That's awesome.
So there's like no limit of like what the Navy is supposed to be. It's just like
it actually most of his ship after his death rot.
It do because be they aren't taking
it really do be like that. He ends up creating mostly the first frigate, the Standard, used to be on display. Although I guess maybe the Ariel, the Eagle, was first, but the one of the frigates used to be in port in St. Petersburg, and people used to go and see it. But I guess that kind of thing doesn't make money, so they scuttled it or sold it or whatever. Very, very. That's a great sign of the times in modern day Russia.
Yeah. I tried sneaking onto the Queen Mary a few weeks ago.
Why?
Because I want to sneak onto also like a spooky old vessel.
Yeah,
but it
You didn't tell me
had a lot
about
of security.
They had security.
Yeah.
Are they dudes in like bowler hats?
Hey there, you can't sneak onto the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on there. Yeah. So you pulled up the Peter the Great ship, and the modern ship is actually the missile cruiser Peter the Great. So they definitely have some now that are called after him.
Damn, how old are missile cruisers?
Oh yeah, we had them. They shot.
It's how we won
just
the 7 Years' War.
Gigantic dildos.
Man, this is really falling apart.
Yeah.
Felching and now giant ship dildo.
So
hey, this is
by the way, if you're not familiar, guys, if you want to look up Felching,
I don't want to.
You should. But I'm putting this in your mind so that curiosity will eventually force you to do it, in case you're not already aware.
Oh,
so you're welcome from the
God
Benzo
bless.
Rehab dungeon. God bless.
Please don't.
Not an official Benzo Rehab dungeon statement.
Also look up munging.
No, don't look up munging.
Benzo Rehab dungeon disavows.
You'll never eat mung beans the same way again.
Yeah. So war is declared. Peter starts to gather an army.
Yeah.
But during this time, again, another young ruler that inherits an older father's army. Charles XII of Sweden. Young guy. He's 15 when he comes when he becomes king. Vultures start to circle. Obviously, this is a 15-year-old kid. They're like, we about to get some. And this dude immediately fucking responds. And in the time, there he is. In the time that, yes, it's the fucking
I love the picture
Swedish
of Greta Thunberg.
environmental change. He's Charles XII the whole time. Fuck, I forgot her name. But why is she coming up? It's just like all
Greta
Swedish,
Thunberg.
she comes up.
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, Greta comes up for everything that's Swedish ever. I love it.
That makes
That's all they
sense.
got.
Yeah, God bless.
So
again, he
Carl,
goes
Ginny
immediately
black
to
metal
war.
and a
And
kid.
before Peter the Great has, again, this is just Peter the Tsar, not the Great. Before he has a chance to gather an army, Charles absolutely fucking smashes Denmark, makes him sign a peace treaty right away. They're out of the war. Boom. Within less than a year, fucks their shit all the way up.
I'm gonna say it. Fuck Denmark.
Yeah. What have they ever done to you? Little Mermaid? Fuck them.
They didn't do anything.
Fucking Hans Christian Andersen, Frozen. They're responsible for Frozen. So me as a father, I have a fucking grudge to bear. Fuck them. No,
they made Frozen and Crazy Frog.
Yeah.
And that shark song.
Yeah. And they straight up do have an anarchist commune in the old military fortress, I think just outside of Copenhagen.
No amount of baby shark.
It's just drugs. It's just drugs.
Of course.
I think. But they also have cool shit.
What else do people like?
Sex.
No.
I mean, that goes hand in hand.
Yeah. But
anyway, sorry, I gotta stop interrupting. I'm in a
please do.
Exhausted
I can
but decent mood. So.
I can do this. And I feel myself growing stronger as I consume the scotch.
I feel you growing too.
I feel like if I can consume more scotch, I would become more strong.
What scotch are you drinking, real quick?
God, Glenfiddich something. It was a gift from a lovely friend. So I don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but unfortunately I didn't.
I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I just drink its piss.
That's right. Fuck yeah.
That's what I'm drinking right now.
Oh yeah, commune there. Yeah, that's the place. And my wife's like, "What? They don't have communes." I'm like, "Look, this is a real fucking commune." No, dude.
Yeah, they have food trucks.
But we need to insert that one dude. They need to put that one Antifa dude with a gun. Every single picture needs to have that one Antifa dude with a gun that they put in with the Oregon people. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so Oregon is just food trucks anyway. So
Charles XII,
Texas, everybody.
Food trucks and then guns.
They all have guns.
Charles XII wrecks Denmark shit. They're immediately out of the war. Boom. Peter the Great finally gathers his army and invades Swedish. Well, it's modern day Livonia. A ship.
Oh yeah, everyone knows where Livonia is.
It's modern day Estonia, but this is Swedish Livonia. And he invades this place called Narva. We took the art from the capture of Narva when he eventually captures us in 1704. Last episode, I think that's the episode. That's the little thingy. But yeah, first picture, John, right there. First picture, top left. That one, Love
pretty
it.
dope.
That's the best art. Russians get their fucking asses handed to them. Essentially, in the beginning, this is the beginning of the 18th century. War is an art, war is a science. When you start to invade, you have to you have to circumvallate like Julius Caesar. You have to set up your artillery. You have to make sure all your supply lines are right. And Peter the Great and the Russian army essentially doing this with new tech, with new generals and everything. So he walks up there, he sights the guns. No, this gun goes here. Again, has to fucking do this essentially from scratch. Again, Russia did have gunpowder troops beforehand. This is a new level of technology, essentially. New level of thinking. So he has to set all this shit up. This takes weeks to properly close it up. Him and his foreign generals go on sorties. And essentially, in the time that they do this, Charles has the ability to navally ship his entire army from Sweden to essentially this place in Livonia. Then he countermarches and is able to, obviously, intelligence networks exist. We know that Charles is coming, but we know that Charles is not coming for a while. This dude force marches, absolutely descends on the Russian army. Peter, in what can be described as probably his only moment of either realpolitik or cowardice or whatever. Again, it is not for me to judge. He leaves the army. He knows Charles is coming. Again, you can make the argument like, oh, he didn't know that Charles is coming soon. Or he's like, holy shit, we're about to get our asses handed to us. I can't be here because I'll lose face. So he deuces, leaves. I think it's an Austrian general. Again, what's his name? Carl Eugene de Croix. So it's a French name, but I think he's Austrian, actually. This dude in charge. Peter bounces. Carl attacks, and Russian troops, except the Preobrazhensky and Semyonovsky regiments, his toy soldiers, his funsy troops when he was a boy. Everyone else folds because everyone else has foreign officers. The foreign officers think their troops are going to betray them. The troops think the foreign officers are going to betray them. A lot of the foreign officers, including de Croix, straight up desert to the Swedes, which leads the troops to be like, the foreigners have betrayed us, start shooting their own officers that have not deserted. Shit is not yeah. So the Russian army gets absolutely fucking stomped at Narva. That picture in the top left is the surrender of the Russian army. You see them throwing down their banners in front of Charles. It's a Swedish painting.
I gotta say,
Charles the 12th on his horse, but behind a Swedish banner, you see the yellow crowns of Sweden. You see these Russian soldiers marching, throwing down their thing. All the Russian soldiers had to surrender, except the Preobrazhensky and Semyonovsky. He let them march out with their weapons, with their banners, drums beating. And in 18th century talk, that is about as high fucking honors as you could get. So they were able to just march away from the battlefield unharmed.
I'd like to interject real quick.
What's up?
I would like to say that a military infantry group shooting their own officers is pretty based and should happen more often.
Yeah.
Based in Warfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, based in
fucking 18th century pilled.
Oh fuck! I put that into the psyche now.
Yeah. So clearly,
Continue.
the Russians have a distrust of foreigners. They always have. They're gonna have it a little bit more now. Yeah. This is clearly.
I guess
not a
it's
good
okay
time.
to have a distrust of foreigners when you own half the planet.
Not yet. This is not yet. John, look up the extent.
Yeah, what does Russia look like here?
Look up the extent of the Tsardom of Russia in 1700. You will notice that it does not include Siberia. That doesn't happen yet.
So they don't have that shitty orchestra.
No,
the Kingdom of Russia, the Tsardom of Russia in
TSAR.
1700. Yeah, it is much more squat than you're used to seeing it. It just goes to Peter the Great. I wonder why. Just map of Russia in 1700. Is that sorghum? What is map of
sorghum
Russia?
like the wheat.
Oh, God. Map of Russia, 1700.
I want some pasta.
Sorghum.
Real.
Yeah.
There's one that has a bunch of colors, like the green one and red. Yeah. The one on the left, down the bottom left.
Down.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, I think. Yeah, this shows you. I think it's expansions. Yeah, so I think we're looking at that dark green.
Oh my gosh.
We're looking at that dark green right now.
We looking at that dark green. You know what I'm saying?
So not the darkest green, the second darkest green, I believe, is what we're looking at right now. Maybe the second lightest green. So maybe to the Urals. Because he does make expansion, he expands factories in the Urals. And of course, during this time, a factory is merely a cottage fucking production. It is not a literal factory.
Right.
But he creates, I think, 180 something factories for mining, steel production, iron production. A factoria is not the English word for factory. It is merely a production place for something. So he gets that shit kickstarted. He gives it to his cronies. You get tiny little bourgeois shit start to happen. It doesn't really start to take off until later.
Fun fact, and I haven't looked this up in
That's the best kind of fun fact.
a very long time, so it may be a little bit off. But the the term factory, like you're saying, did originally mean just a place of like worker production, and then
Is it Latin?
what we usually think of, I think so, but what we usually think of factories used to be called manufactories, and so they was shortened to factory again. So they all just became factories.
Nice.
That may be a little bit confused, but that's
a fun factory.
Yeah.
No.
Also, so just in case, so maybe that if that ended up being wrong, I want to make a fool of myself twice. And I know that this is temporally totally detached from what we're talking about, but
Largely depends, but go.
I don't remember the story of how my own country got Alaska.
Oh, we built them a telephone line.
Yeah.
Right.
Amongst other things, it was just a sale.
Yeah.
It was a purchase from Canada,
not
right?
It was a sale, but like
something like not even 3 or 4 years go by and oil is struck. It's fucking ridiculous.
Right.
And it was chump change. It was chump change because we were selling snow essentially.
Yeah.
And beautiful natural parks.
Did we
Everyone
get
should
it
go to Alaska.
from Russia or did we get it from Canada? Okay.
No, it was Russia. Yeah,
I thought it was Canada.
Oh, okay.
There is, believe it or not, there is a part of the Russian nationalist movement that 100% wants and expects Alaska to return back to Russia.
Dude, just
this
take
is fucking
it.
this is moon. This is people from the moon. There's a popular band called
People
Lube.
from the moon.
There's a band called Lube that's relatively popular in the States. I heard Putin listens to it. That has a song all about, hey, give us back Alaska. But yeah, good times.
I mean, some Alaskans can see Russia from their porch.
You know, I was.
Are you referring to Sarah Palin?
I was actually just about to say, like, Russia can totally take Alaska back and accidentally kill Sarah Palin along the way.
I would love to hike in Alaska someday. Actually, I long
That would
to
be
go
cool.
to Alaska before it's completely.
Guys, don't get rid of Alaska yet.
Only because Teddy K.
Yeah, dude. Look up Denali. Dude, look up the Denali fucking national park and tell me you don't want to fucking go and like.
Oh no! One of my life goals is to visit the cabin of Dick Prenicky, who was a guy that. Of
course, you want to visit a Dick cabin.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Go ahead and be a douchebag about it.
No, it's absolutely. It's my dream to hike up there, dude.
Sorry, Mike. What were you saying?
Dick Prenicky was this guy that basically like left society and lived in a cabin for like 50 years. Like and it wasn't like a political movement thing or anything like that. He just fucking like lived in the cabin by
We can see what fucking
like
John's focusing on though. Is like, look at these beautiful landscape. No, let's focus on the Grizzlies.
Some fucking bears, man.
Grizzlies will fuck your shit up, by the way. Holy shit.
They're just so aesthetic though.
Yeah, they are.
They are. They look just like me.
They are highly aesthetic.
Every time I see bears, I always just think about that meme that's
Dorian.
like, if bears are so if bears are so dangerous, why do they have these rounded, fuzzy ears?
I know.
That's true.
Never mind the fact that they have like the PSI to take your fucking skin off with one swipe, whatever. The fucking pounds per square dick of ripping it off. Yeah. No, Denali. I would love to go to Denali, but yeah, if I ever go hiking up there, it will be with a firearm because of these young boys here.
If I ever go up there, I'm going to carry a firearm just in case fucking Canadians show up.
Damn.
I don't think they do. Do they show up in Alaska? Is that a thing?
Sure, across the border, yeah.
Why would they have their own?
Trying to get into our Alaska to get our health care.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah. Wow.
You have no idea how many Canadians steal American healthcare.
How fucking post-ironic are we getting right now?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm
two
broken
maybe.
today.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're squared.
Where do
no, John. No, buddy.
What in the hell is happening in this search?
What's he looking up?
I don't even know because of some of the words.
It's a family show. All right.
Yeah, I don't see any changes on the screen. What's he looking up?
Oh,
I can't read that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't read it.
Too small for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I listen to audiobooks. This is why.
Again,
once we get into
audiobooks, I can't see.
Obviously, yeah.
So continuing on with Russian history, please.
Yeah,
does Russia really exist?
Well, again, if we lapse into solipsism, does it? I don't know.
What
does anyone outside of my fucking brain exist? Does my brain exist? I don't know.
All I know is if you close the fridge, the food goes away.
That is completely correct. Object permanence is bullshit. Yeah. So again, Russia gets fucking smoked. Russia gets so smoked that in Europe, Charles XII is hailed as essentially the second coming of Julius Caesar. B, Charles XII himself is completely convinced that Russia's knocked out of the war. He doesn't care about Russia anymore. Russia's fucked. So he directs his attention to Poland and Saxony. The thing about it is, August, again, not the best commander, but he's a decently intelligent guy. He straight up just doesn't give battle. He doesn't give battle, or he gives battle once a year or so, and then he's defeated.
I don't want to give battle so bad.
Because God, I wish someone would give me battle.
What no battle does to an MFer.
I love it. So again, he gives battle, he gets smoked, and then he retreats. And then Charles XII follows him, and then he retreats some more, except it's not like a Russian retreat, just one direction. He retreats in every fucking direction. He's just constantly moving around. And Charles can't catch him. And he does this for fucking 6 years or some shit. So Charles is chasing him around for years until he finally corners him in Saxony, defeats him on his home turf, so Saxony can't support his ass anymore, dethrones him, and puts his own fucking patsy king on the Polish throne. But it takes him years to do this. In the meantime,
the long game, man.
Peter's learning from his mistakes. Peter at this time goes and defeats tiny fucking Swedish garrisons. Amongst them, the old Swedish garrison of I forget what the fuck it's called, but he renames it Schlisselburg, which is Schlisselburg is going to be an important place during World War II too, as well. It's going to be one of the places around St. Petersburg, Leningrad, where the ring hasn't completely closed. So we'll talk about the siege of Leningrad and how fucking horrible it was. But it's close by to St. Petersburg. He captures Schlisselburg. It's not quite on the Baltic Sea. Sselburg. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Zoom out a little bit.
Monument to Peter the Great is one of the landmarks there.
So again, it's not quite on the Baltic Sea, but you zoom out and there's St. Petersburg. So he captures
Baltic Sea, significantly less shitty than the Caspian. Just gonna say it.
Because it goes somewhere. Because it goes somewhere. Exactly. So he shifts over, defeats motherfuckers in St. Petersburg. There's already a Russian village that's right next to it. He forcibly ejects them, puts them where St. Petersburg is. They reclaim land from the fucking river. The Peter and Paul Island with the Peter and Paul Fortress.
Where's
that's reclaimed? Huh?
Sorry, forget it.
Okay. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. So again, St. Petersburg, it costs X amount of people to fucking build. Again, there's Western historiographers and Soviet historiographers that like to inflate numbers. Again, yes, a significant amount of people die building this town, reclaiming it from essentially marshlands. Again, it is probably
out of
capital cities, I feel like it's one of the, if not the farthest north, because Stockholm's certainly less north than it. Of course,
there's the North Pole.
Yeah.
That's the capital of Santa.
What? Of capital of Santa? Or Père Noël, or Grandfather Frost in Russian. Now, we all know that Grandfather Frost actually lives in Lapland, which is in Sweden. So Russian Santa Claus fucking lives in Sweden for some reason. I don't know why. I do not know why.
It's just an excuse for them to invade Sweden eventually.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to
national
self-determination for Santa Claus. It's time. But again,
hell yeah.
yeah. So there you go. So yes, we
Christmas
found St. Petersburg.
2050.
He is able to build St. Petersburg relatively undisturbed. Because again, Charles is off doing his own fucking shit. If Charles I was, again, we're getting into alternate history and people are going to fucking hate me because actual historians hate alternate history, but I really enjoy it because it's fun. It's fun to conjecture, you know, for me personally, because I'm autistic and it's fun to do things you're not allowed to do. So,
but Sonic's arms are not blue.
Oh god.
oh no.
We don't need to talk about that, right?
So again, if Charles is
He
to
just
march
loves
up,
his mom. It's fine.
if Charles XII is to march up to St. Petersburg and destroy it, that's it. War is essentially over. But St. Petersburg is allowed to grow. It's first a fortress, then it's a town, and he is very bold in proclaiming his new capital in land that technically, at the time, is not de jure part of the Tsardom of Russia. It is Swedish in
he's
German
bold because
land.
of a couple of reasons, right? Like,
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
off, he's building this town that's naming him as a saint.
Well, there is St. Peter, of course.
Oh, true.
The
Yeah.
holders of the kingdom of heaven and all that stuff. Supposedly. I
Genuine,
don't believe in the Pope. I believe that the fucking Bishop of Rome is the Bishop of Rome, and anything other than that is fucking popery and
genuine,
garbage.
but very far.
Of course, I mean everybody
maybe
did that
not
shit.
question.
Everybody did that. Go ahead.
St. Petersburg. I've never drawn this comparison, and it's probably because it's not a good comparison. But does anything about that have to do with the place being sold as like heaven in the same way that like the city upon the hill kind of thing? Because Peter is he guards the gates of heaven, you know. So
I'm
like
not
Petersburg,
sure.
you know.
I don't know.
I don't
All
know.
I know is that
that's
the
giant.
I know that the first article of the Code of Military Service in St. Peter's Times, published in 1721, the first article deals with witches. I shit you not.
Of course.
The first article of military discipline deals with how to deal with wizards and people that are.
Yes.
They call them. I because I took the fucking time to read it.
Don't look
God
them in
bless.
the eye.
The first article deals with attending church. Before they even get to military discipline, they're like, y'all motherfuckers better go to church. And also, if you're found in communion with the devil by accident and have not done any harm, you just need to make a public confession. It's all good. But if you do it and you're malicious towards it, or if you ask someone else to perform witchcraft on your behalf, that's you and them. That's your fucking life.
Right.
So yeah.
So really quick fun fact
Go. That's it. That's all I got. That's it.
So I forgot to bring this up during the witchcraft episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse. Go check them out. Great sales pitch, Dorian. But Hobbes, our good friend, Hobbes actually wrote. What's up? Yeah, Leviathan Hobbes. Yeah. He wrote about witches a little bit, and about he doesn't believe in them, but that us claiming that some people are witches is good because it helps with social cohesion. And so
I hate him so fucking much.
Yeah.
I hate Hobbes so
Dude,
I hate the cartoon.
Not?
I hate the cartoon Calvin and Hobbes because of Thomas Hobbes.
I know so many like
Hobbes.
neo-Hobbesians. It's fucking bizarre.
It's
like,
I'm a classical liberal. If you're a classical liberal, cool. You're a follower of Malthus.
Could you never talk bad about Calvin and Hobbes again, please?
I can't stand Calvin and Hobbes. I'm sorry.
Malthus and Hobbes.
Yeah. So you're a Malthusian and a Hobbesian. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Damn.
How many people starved to death in that comic?
Zero, because it's about a small child and his imaginary tiger.
Yeah, everyone but his imagination starved.
Yeah, they're actually the last two people. They're the last two people, and one of them's not even a people.
One of them's not a people at all.
Yeah.
Look, I grew up on Calvin and Hobbes, and they're actually based comics. So
they are based and Hobbes filled.
Yeah.
They are Malthus pilled.
They are genuinely. I love them. Yeah.
Fun fact about Bill Watterson is he refused to monetize. Bill Watterson.
Sorry.
He refused to monetize Calvin and Hobbes in any way. So anything that you see, like any
Please
plush
tell me you know how to spell
toys.
Hobbs.
It's HOBBEE or ES. Sorry.
Yeah, one E, 2B.
Anyways, he
2B or
refused
not
to
to
he
eat.
refused to monetize Calvin and Hobbes merchandise.
Getting
So
drunk.
anything you see that's got like Calvin and Hobbes like fucking posted on it is not official merchandise.
Based.
Nice.
Yeah, Bill Watterson was actually like pretty much an anarchist, as far as I can
okay.
tell from like.
Maybe I need to give him another try.
No, you definitely need to give
this
him
is how
another
much
try
I hate
because if you
Hobbes.
don't think that Calvin and Hobbes is based, you're fucking wrong.
Oh,
All right, and
I know
I
it's got
will I will
I
call
know
you
it's got-
out right
I know
now.
it's got Christian undertones though, so I don't like that either.
Eh.
We'll have to.
I would disagree with Christian undertones too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I have
Maybe I need to give another
the
try.
I have like
I'm open to
massive
change.
books of Calvin and Hobbes comics. That
You
I've
own
read
paper
through.
medium.
Hold on. Here's my intermediary point.
Okay.
I think it does genuinely think it does have Christian undertones, and that actually fucking rules.
Well, yeah, I think it's okay to some extent. But I would
Except
question
for that episode where Hobbes ends up like killing a bunch of gays on that mount. He like lights them on fire.
Yeah.
Calls them
What?
a
like
fun fact about
words.
me. I'm
He
just
doesn't
gonna,
do
You're
that.
I'm
actually
gonna,
you're
I'm gonna see
actually
if I
Calvin.
can. I'm gonna see if I can put this up on the camera.
Yeah, it's a Calvinist comic.
My phone
Oh, yeah.
background for at least 10 years now has been a picture of a T-Rex flying a jet plane,
Okay.
which is from Calvin and Hobbes.
Is
Also-
it really?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so it's like
no, it rules.
So it's like it's Cretaceous punk too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Not only
No.
only was like Bill Watterson like saying a lot of like kind of intellectual things in this comic book for essentially kids, or a comic
Yeah.
series for kids.
Sure.
But also like the absurdist and also like incredibly detailed art, like watercolor inking and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
One of our friends, he's changed his handle, so I feel comfortable talking about this. I believe he just doesn't use this one anymore, and whatever, it's changed in one form or another. But it used to be Armchair Calvinist, and that is the
yeah.
funniest fucking. That's so good to me.
Yeah.
God damn.
That's-
Can we
that's
talk about
our-
how Calvinist thought is also just awful?
It's bizarre.
It's
Well,
the
that's the
worst.
that's the
The
funniest thing.
freaking
And this guy-
predetermination. What else?
he's
What is there to do?
He's
Whatever.
also someone that messages me all the time saying like, here's an idea, and I don't know anything about philosophy or anything, but how about this? I'm like, you had the like funniest philosophically based like screen name I've ever seen in my life. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? I don't know. Anyway,
Like
philosophically
if we're talking
based.
about John Calvin, his
where
his
where are we at
yeah,
in Russian
determinism
history?
is jacked.
I am a softer determinist than I used to be, but yeah. But yeah, let's get back to Russia. I
think
guess.
determinism ruins the point of living, but it'd be like that.
We'll talk about this.
How did determinism ruin Russia?
Yeah.
We were always headed this way. We need land.
John brought us back.
Jesus Christ. So Peter builds a city. Charles is essentially wasting time. Eventually, he defeats August. Poland comes under his control. And he decides to go and fuck Russian shit up. He decides to march on Moscow. The age-old fucking trick. You capture Moscow. Again, Moscow's not even the capital anymore. Whatever. Moscow, we take Moscow. People will rebel. Whatever. He starts to march on Moscow. What happens? He starts to run out of food, of course. So he turns south to Ukraine, where a Cossack hetman named Ivan Mazepa essentially deserts, betrays the alliance, whatever. Again, I'm not super firm on how Ukraine was it firmly a part of Russia? Was it merely an alliance of convenience between the Tsars of Russia and the Zaporozhian Cossacks at the time? I'm actually kind of iffy on that. So the Russian historiography will, of course, see him as a traitor. The Ukrainian historiography will see Ivan Mazepa as someone making a choice for his people. And I don't think Swedish historiography really bothers. But at the time, he forges an alliance with Charles XII. They march to Ukraine. This is why we arrive at Poltava. Poltava is the first, this is 1709, Poltava is the first major victory, completely crushing fucking victory for Peter, the new Russian army, against this little fucking Caesar, Charles the 12th.
Little Caesar.
Yeah, little Caesar.
That's where the
I
pizza
can't-
name comes from.
I
right? No, I'm
can't
just
I can't stand
The
Little
worst
Caesar.
pizza.
It's
The worst
It's
pizza.
the word, and they're so pushy about it too. Like, ugh,
That
it's hot.
was
It's
pushy.
hot and it's hot and it's ready.
Ugh,
It's not hot
yes.
or it's ready. It's both.
I think they know who they are, and I appreciate that.
Like,
Yeah, that's fair. I know I'm a trash fire. I know who I am.
Yeah.
So it'd be
And
like
Little
that.
Caesars is a trash fire, but they're just saying we're a trash fire.
We're hot
that
and we're
means that
ready,
we're
though.
hot and we're ready.
That's
Exactly.
apparently the guy who owns Little Caesars used to like donate a bunch of money to like housing, and that does not forgive him for how bad the pizza is.
No. Or the fact how they exploit their workers or whatever. Like,
Yeah, also that.
I'm sure they exploit their
The whole
workers less or
cannabis.
whatever, but they still
Probably not.
exploit their workers.
Have you ever been inside
mean-
Little Caesars? Everyone's
no.
miserable in there.
I've
I
never
mean, they seem
physically been inside a
happier
Little
than the
Caesar.
Domino's people, though.
I don't know. I guess they've let more
How
people have
happy, though.
franchises or whatever, so it's supposedly small business, but it's
at-
really not.
At
Just
least
the
at
whole
least
franchise thing is a
Domino's
lie.
is edible. You know.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know?
I can eat. Oh, I want some pizza now. Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
Chop chop.
Be problems.
So,
yeah.
Poltava, Poltava,
Oh,
1709. Boom. Granted, the Russian army is superior in numbers at the time. So you have this, it's hordes of Russians destroying whatever. The Swedish army at the time is the most powerful fucking force. They are properly politically motivated. They are completely fucking fearless. They are drilled to an incredible standard.
They
in no
have
small part.
they have
thanks-
really good equipment too.
Yes, not in no small part due to their fucking Protestant faith. They're super fucking loyal. They in the Swedish army there was no such thing as fucking deserting. I mean, obviously, so I'm sure there were fucking people that deserted, but again, deep in enemy territory, these people aren't deserting. So again, the Swedish army is numerically inferior, but it was numerically inferior when it defeated the Russians at Narva. This is not a thing. This time, Peter conducts field fucking verschanzt, that they are dug in, essentially. They have redoubts or whatever, 18th century redoubts or whatever, and the Swedes throw everything they got at them. And when the Swedes attack, they have again 18th century linear warfare. This is the beginnings, the end of pike and shot, and the beginning of linear warfare. So the Swedes still have some pikemen, the Russians still have some pikemen, but it's mostly volley fire. Any kind of military history people I talked to about, I was like, why would they ever do that? It's volley fire in one direction. It actually worked because these muskets are only fucking good for 50 to 60 yards.
Yeah,
Some
you had to
guys
see you had to see the whites of your enemy's eyes.
there's no rifling in the barrel.
Yeah.
There's huge amounts of smoke. You have to deliver the most amount of fucking volley of fire in one direction. That's how you kill. Again, they're
It's like,
round balls,
for
so
people-
they veer up, they veer down, they veer left, they veer right. There's no aiming these fucking things. Not really.
Yeah.
People can imagine that the entire army is a shotgun.
Kind of.
That's
Yeah.
actually pretty
So,
apt.
infantrymen stand in
Well,
lines
yeah.
and they fire at one another.
A video game
cavalry-
shotgun.
Yeah. You fire at one another. Cannons attack. Most of the kills during these battles, believe it or not, are not from bayonets.
It's
They're
kind
not
of
even
like
from-
an Unreal Tournament 2004 scattergun.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Most-
the
most
flat
casualties
Yeah.
occur from
cannon, favorite
cannon
gun.
shot.
Yeah.
Most casualties occur from cannon shot because that's what really is going to fuck your shit up, especially when we get to the Napoleonic era. Cannons get better. Cannons are what are doing most of the killing, not infantry fire. And then obviously, as people rout, cavalry comes in, and that's when the majority of casualties occur after someone starts running.
Right.
And again, bayonet battles, not really a thing. Whenever they talk about bayonet attacks, it's they charge,
That's
oftentimes at a walking pace. Again, you have to imagine these dudes in frills and long frocks
Yeah.
and fucking 18th century shoes with buckles. They are not
Dude.
sprinting. There's
Absolutely
no yelling.
stupid
They are
military
walking. They are
gear.
walking at one another. They
I'm
are
sorry,
walking
I'm-
at each other fast.
After other things that I've said during this podcast, this is probably going to be concerning just because it's like I'm saying so
It
much
is.
about it. But I want to fucking murder someone while wearing frills so bad.
It's the lesson. Once we get into the War of Spanish Succession, it's going to be
Don't
even
let
more
them buy frills.
fun. Frills are
Uh,
the best.
Just
real
like-
quick,
as long as I never
gentlemen.
buy frills, everyone's fine.
So this
I'm
is
going to let the
general-
conversation go on, but I need to
Yeah.
step out for just a moment. So
No worries.
continue. I'll be right back.
God bless. Enjoy your
Traitor.
poop. Yeah. What a foreign
Enjoy
officer
our
he is.
poop. Kitten.
So again, this is standard Western European tactics. Is you fire at one another, you advance. That's everything. The Swedish army is different. They advance, first of all, holding a musket in one hand and a heavy infantry sword in another. These things are fucking heavy. So just every infantry soldier being able to do that alone, the physical fucking drill that they had to do just to do that is extraordinarily fucking difficult. Second of all, the Swedes, they do not fire from far away. They advance, then they break into a run. They do break into a run. The enemy delivers a volley, they run, and before the enemy is able to deliver a second volley, they're 10 paces away. That's when the Swedes deliver a volley at 10 paces. It is a fucking shotgun. It's like an artillery shot going off in the middle of a tight pack formation. You're going to have several ranks falling. These bullets are going to rip through the first, second, sometimes the third rank of men. Traditionally, it's 3 ranks that line up in line. If you're in column, you can be in column of divisions, column of whatever. Tradition in line formation, it's three lines. You're going to have these musket balls piercing several ranks of men at once. And then they charge with a bayonet. And again, this Hollywood shit of people fighting bayonet to bayonet, it happened 3% of the time. Most of the time, the Russian army was involved because the Russian army becomes very proficient with the bayonet. The bayonet is absolutely used as a weapon, but it's mostly when people are running away. Most bayonet wounds are in the back. You're running away, I tripped, skewer. But this whole bayonet on bayonet, we're going to do some martial arts shit, does not happen. Never happens. Again, in Poltava, the Russians have fortifications. Simple as that. The Russians outnumber them. They have proper fields of fire. The musketeers have better drill at this point. The Swedes get overwhelmed. They're they're defeated. They have to retreat. They almost make it to Turkey. They're completely surrounded, and most of their men are they capitulate, essentially. Charles XII is able to escape. Is able to escape into the Ottoman Empire with a handful of men. His like Trabants or whatever. The Trabants are the lifeguards of lifeguard dragoons. He goes to the Ottoman Empire, and he chills at the Ottoman Empire for like 11 years. I'm sorry, no, it's 1718. So for 9 years, he chills with the Ottomans, unable to gather his forces. Again, the Ottomans are friendly to him because he's an enemy to Russia. And Poltava was fought in the summer, by the way. So again, Russian winter. No, it was in the summer in Ukraine. It was sweltering fucking hot. But yeah, that picture you're looking at is when Charles XII gets untimely killed when he's fighting off in Norway. He's killed in 1719. So again, he chills out in the Ottoman Empire. The Sultan is eventually like, hey, you got to go. Charles XII is like, no, I'm not going. So there's a firefight in Constantinople.
There was a firefight.
There was a firefight in his literal house where he was living with his fucking lifeguards. They defended themselves. And the Sultan's like, guys, you gotta go. And eventually he goes and he crosses all of Europe from the Ottoman Empire into Sweden in something ungodly, like 20 days. Like 20 days. It was considered a feat of sport at the time. It was incredibly fast.
Those boys were running.
Huh?
I said those boys were running.
No, it was just Carl. It was just Carl with his men. So eventually he makes it up to Sweden. He's like, I'm gonna fight this war again. I'm gonna go fuck Denmark shit again. He goes to Denmark, gets his ass shot, dies. 1 year afterwards, dead. This is them burying his body back to Sweden. And after that, there's still war for like 3 more years. Yeah, that's his body. He gets shot straight in the head. Fucking, he goes and scouts a position himself. There's some controversy here. Some people say that maybe he was killed by his own men. Because like we're fucking tired of war, you know. But again, they were extremely loyal to him. Yada yada yada. Yeah, he gets shot straight in the foot. The earlier pictures, you saw his skull. And it's just crunched by a fucking musket ball. There's a hole
crunched
the size of a fucking tennis ball in his head.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, Charles is killed. His sister takes over, but they continue the war. Eventually, Russia's able to put ships on the Baltic Sea. They fuck Sweden shit up. Eventually, they start burning parts of Sweden. They start raiding into Sweden, and eventually, the Swedes sign peace and give again war gains for Russia. are more than we expected, but I still feel like less than we could have gotten. We get Swedish and German land.
Wait, what's this we stuff? I thought you were.
What's this with?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
thought you were American.
we want more. No, so we get essentially in German land. So it's literally it's in German land. That's literally where St. Petersburg is. And we get Livonia, we get Leafland, so we get Estonia and all that stuff. Those are Russia's gains during the war. So now we have this, and eventually Russia will go on to conquer Finland, and that this will be in the Napoleonic Wars. So the extent of the Russian Empire, at one point we actually did have borders with Sweden proper, but that's another story for another day. But by 1721, Peter the Great declares the empire. He's like, I'm done being a king. I won my big war. Again, this war, 21 years. It lasts 21 years. It's not a silly war. And during this time, the country changes. A bunch of shit goes on. During this time, Peter the Great is almost captured by the Turks because he has another war in Turkey during all this shit. While when Charles is in Turkey, Peter the Great has the big Prut campaign where he gets his shit absolutely pushed in. He gets completely surrounded by an Ottoman army. And essentially the only way him and his army escape is they fucking bribe the Ottoman general. They bribe him with everything they had, including like the crown jewels of his queen. Because the queen and all the ladies in waiting and stuff were with the army. And they were like, we'll fucking give him everything. So they gave him all the fucking jewel. And the Grand Vizier, who was in charge of the Ottoman Empire, was so short-sighted because he had them surrounded. He was so short-sighted, so greedy that he let them all go. And of course, the Grand Vizier later was beheaded for, being shitty. But again, that's in the Ottoman Empire. That's a relatively common thing at the time. But yeah, so again, there's narrow escapes. There's crazy shit going on, and Peter's in the thick of it. That one time in Narva where he ran away, that's the only time he ever does that. He either learns his lesson or knows how to, put a better spin on things from then on. But yeah, that's Peter. Eventually he dies. I think it was a bunch of famous people died from stomach cancer, like Napoleon dies. Peter, I think, either had syphilis complications or something with his stomach. He dies. I think he's 53 or something.
That's the early Sigma male way to die.
Yeah. Sigma syphilis.
Yeah, Sigma syphilis.
Sigmiphilus.
Sigmiphilus. Yeah, 100%. So
it's a character from like Sesame Street or something.
Yeah. A couple important parts to take away is he strengthens
Snuffleupagus from?
Snuffleupagus is from
Sesame Street.
Yeah,
maybe?
Sesame Street.
I thought so. Okay, so
Yeah.
forget it.
Sesame
Move on.
Street is good.
Thanks.
I was right with my joke.
So again, he strengthens the central power of the monarchy, which actually decreases the power of the nobles. And you will see for the rest of the 18th century, the nobles will try to reverse the things he's done through weaker autocrats, oftentimes through political assassination, through these palace coups that you're going to see in the 18th century. Which is funny because, again, I love this Russian martial music and stuff, and all these elite regiments, including the Semyonovsky, which is one of the Peter's first two. They're like, we were always loyal to Russian czars. It's the fucking first line lyric of the song. And I was like, yeah, you were loyal, except that one time you killed this czar, and then the time you helped this czar die. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's.
Look, I've always been loyal to you, baby.
It's like being loyal to the idea that they represented.
Oh, right? Yeah. It's, again, all of these lyrics were written in the late 19th century where essentially most of the Russian people already fucking hated the czars anyway. So it was mostly lip service. But again, a lot of these regimental songs are from around Peter's time. And I'm a big fan of music and all that stuff. So I'm super autistic about Russian nationalist music, even though I'm like not a Russian nationalist, because
are you sure about that?
Pretty fucking sure, because they've made so many fucking...
Music's pretty dumb.
They've done, yeah, music is real stupid. Can't stand it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
I'll be right back.
As far as
Will you?
Like, we don't know. He always says this. He's never said this before. Yeah, like nationalist music is like, it fucking slaps. And
yeah,
it's propaganda, right?
Some is
gotta be like, ooh,
dope as shit. Yeah,
it's like, let's use these like stereotypical. It's emotional manipulation, really.
Yeah,
except for American stuff, it's bad.
No, that's actually exactly what I was gonna say. Is like
because there was
the
nowhere
Star
to create
Spangled
national.
Banner fucking sucks.
Yeah,
Like
it was. Can we talk about how the War of 1812 was a war that was almost entirely lost by the states, except on the water. Every land engagement by the Americans was fucking lost until the Battle of New Orleans. Anyway.
I don't know if this might be a shocker to a lot of people.
We should do a War of 1812 episode.
But
yeah,
America
got its shit pushed in.
Actually, very good at war usually.
no,
like not very good at it. Good at recovering from
back-to-back World War champs,
not very good at war.
America, in terms of like military success, has only been successful whenever they're trying to secure some kind of capitalistic venture for corporations. Essentially,
incorrect.
I mean,
they lost
kind
the Vietnam
of, but not
War.
even really. Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying that that's like
I'm using
they're always successful in that. I'm not saying they're always successful in that,
Yeah.
but like think of like the Banana Wars, like that gained a corporation a huge amount of money.
We could go into. Oh my god, I would love to go into like the filibustering, like the actual piracy and shit that they did before the Civil War.
We're just gonna have to make Teddy like a permanent member of the TBRD cast or something.
I don't know if my soul could take it.
Yeah, mine neither. But
like, yeah, dude, I want to talk about how like the Louisiana Tigers and shit, like they were led by people, like the actual regiment, the Louisiana Tigers. They were led by people that straight up had adventures in like Nicaragua and tried to like shift governments and shit, like how they all actually had like war experience and were like shitty American imperialists in the 1840s and 50s. And they're again just absolute amateur hour in terms of like regime change, but they were already doing it. They were kind of practicing for it because again the US wanted to especially in the South, a lot of Southerners wanted to conquer Mexico and turn it into slave states.
Yeah. Well, what?
This is again.
No.
This is completely factually fucking verifiable information. Jefferson, fucking old boy Jefferson Davis talks about it. John Calhoun talks about it. Also, yeah. And then you have people like Ralph Waldo Emerson that talk about Mexico will poison us.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like in a racist way because Mexicans, but
and they'd be right to do so.
Because he refers
Calhoun and Hobbes.
He refers to America's victory in the Mexican War, which of course brings vast swaths of land. And Emerson talks about how these imperialistic, imperialism is not a fucking term used by Emerson, but he talks about how this land growth, specifically in the South, will poison the United States. And in a way, you can trace the origin. We can talk the Civil War all fucking day, even though I think it's boring from a military standpoint. To me personally, the Civil War is boring, but its origins are extremely fucking interesting. And one of the most direct causes, a priori of the American Civil War is America's victory in the Mexican War. Yeah, of course, there's a bunch of other shit. There's tomes of shit that we can talk about, but one of the most direct causes is America's victory in the Mexican War.
Does anyone recall how the first casualties of the Civil War occurred?
No, it was a Confederate horse.
Fucking funny.
It was a Confederate horse.
Was it a Confederate horse?
It was a Confederate horse
because
Confederate horse in Fort Sumter. Then during the surrender ceremony,
there you go.
The Union troops were allowed to fire cannonades and I think play the national anthem or some shit. And the Union soldiers were firing off their cannons. A cannon exploded, and the first Union soldiers to die were during the surrender ceremony because the cannon exploded. But also,
killed like two of them.
There was a couple casualties for, I think one of Lincoln's personal friends was stopping the U.S. flag from being hauled down in like Alexandria, and he was shot dead too. Yeah. So again,
don't bring down the stars and stripes, please,
for such
guys.
a bloody war. It really like started in such like a kind of
we can tackle the fucking lost cause and all that shit. The Confederates.
What are we doing here?
Confederates were the aggressors. Confederates drew the first blood. Confederates were pieces of shit. Full stop. So
and Confederates didn't lose because the fact that the Union had better production or anything. It's not because that
better generals and better soldiers.
Exactly. It's because the Confederacy was actually just bad.
They lost in battle. They were
Sherman
strategically,
was unironically a Chad.
operationally.
If we're being honest.
Sherman's the Chad for sure.
Yeah.
I
The
can be right
Confederates
back.
were outplayed operationally, strategically, and tactically. Go on.
No, he said he's going to be right back.
Jefferson Davis dressed in a again, I have no hate for anyone that chooses to cross-dress, but Jefferson Davis attempted to escape wearing a woman's dress before he was captured at the end of the Civil War. God bless.
Yeah, that I don't think that's gonna read as like anti cross-dressing. I think that's like, man,
and
what a
also,
fucking coward! Like you tried to
Abraham
pass yourself
Lincoln-
off as a lady to get away.
Abraham Lincoln also wore a dress while sneaking through Baltimore, which was super pro-Southern, on his way to inauguration. So you got that Jefferson Davis and Abraham Lincoln both dressed up as women.
What's with all these guys wearing dress? Nah.
Yeah.
we need to eventually try to get back to Russia just for a little bit.
How much time do we have left? Where do you want me to get to before we end?
And
then Napoleon happened. All of a sudden, Lenin. Oh no, Khrushchev. And there's
we have no metrics for how this conversation develops. I didn't say this is part 2 of X. This is part 2. And if it keeps going on, then
that's fine. I mean, if we want to draw it to a close with Peter, that's totally fine. Because next we have come to a general kind of phase change. We have seen this revolution.
Let's kind of get into that phase change, and let's talk about that for a little bit.
So we have come to this revolution from above, conducted by Peter.
Yep.
This order of things, how it has been upended from above by the establishing of firmer serf codes, of taking away a lot of the power of the nobility, and the nobility is going to try to get a lot of those. There you go. There's Charles's skull. Look at that fucking hole, dude.
That's close range.
That's a musket ball, baby.
Yeah.
And again, they can't even type it because like, oh, whose musket ball? What caliber was that? Everyone had the same type of musket balls. So you literally can't be like, oh, even with DNA or whatever, like it could have been
there's no serial numbers musket. on the
it could have been a Dane
the
using a Swedish musket. It could have been a Swede using a Danish musket, or any fucking permutation of the above.
And I mean,
but check out the boy's schnoz though. Look at that boy nose though. Like,
is this the exit wound?
Oh, excuse me.
It kind of looks
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be the exit wound, because I saw another picture
from the other temple.
If you go back to the image search, there was another picture that shows a much smaller entry wound. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go.
A typical musket ball is about 0.6 inches or 69. Yeah. 69 inch. 0.69.
So that would be the entry wound, and then the exit wound is.
That's instant. That's instant. Fucking lights out. So.
Yeah.
Again, he was a young man. He was only kicking. I mean, he came to power when he was 14 or 15. And then he immediately went to war. So, I mean, he's upper 30s, I think. It couldn't have been 40.
Upper 30s.
Yeah.
Apparently that's young these days. I don't know,
man.
Go on.
Well, relatively. I mean, he could have. He was one of those guys. Charles XII was one of those guys that was a brilliant military commander, but an absolute trash strategist.
It looks like he went bald pretty early, according to the portrait.
Yeah. Well, wearing wigs will do that to you.
How funny would it be if I just never left and I just turned off the camera for a while?
That's fine too.
Yeah.
You can't stay away at all.
You can't stay away.
That's what I would do.
Oh wow, you've been listening this whole time. So has the listener.
Oh shit!
Shame on you, listener, for not.
No, don't shame the listener. We need them.
Yeah.
Shaman listener.
We need them. The listener is very important.
We need it.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Don't get all fucking rhizome on me. Where was I? So again, Charles XII, Russians made overtures to make peace with him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But he said something akin to the fact of, Peter the Great already, or he didn't call him Peter the Great, but Peter has already betrayed his word. So I will never make peace with that man. There needs to be a regime change in Russia with someone trustworthy, and then I will make peace with them. So that kind of closes a lot of diplomatic pathways to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The student refused to make peace, and he was a great soldier. His men loved him, etc., etc. Or did they? But well, at least a lot of them did. But interesting guy. Again, an enigma. He's a national hero. There's a lot of myth making about him in Sweden. There's a lot of little tales about him, about, him driving from point A to point B in the snow, and he composes this poem or whatever, but apparently the poem was composed by someone else. But from something land to something strand is the longest mile in Varmaland or whatever. It's
I was
kind
gonna
of
say the whole damn land.
a Swedish mile. A Swedish mile is 10 English miles, so like it's a long ass fucking mile. And it was in the snow, and he was whatever. It's trivia, but he didn't write that. So again, he's dead. His kingdom starts to fucking, and from then on, Sweden is a non-player. Really, it's a non-player until the Napoleonic Wars, and then it takes them placing a French marshal on the throne. Marshal Bernadotte becomes the king of Sweden. That they kind of do their thing, and to this day, the Swedish royalty is the House of Bernadotte. So they are not Swedes; they are French. And the first king of the Bernadotte line, Marshal Bernadotte, he's a revolutionary French marshal. He's a marshal of Napoleon. He eventually betrays Napoleon, goes to war against him. That's why he gets to keep his throne, because he was also Napoleon's brother-in-law. He married his sister. Good time. Or no, he didn't marry his sister. My God, I'm so sorry. He married Napoleon's first love.
Ooh,
Desiree Clary. Oh yeah, it's that kind
Drama.
of fucking thing. So he's his brother's brother-in-law. His brother Joseph marries into the Clary family, but Desiree was his love. But Bernadotte married again. Whatever. Bernadotte
These are
right?
stripper names, man.
Yeah. So Jean Bernadotte dies. The king of, he's this old man. He's the king of Sweden since however fucking long. He would never take his shirt off. He never took his shirt off for anyone. And of course he dies. So they have to bury him. They take his shirt off, and they understand why he never took his shirt off. He's a French revolutionary general, right? Never did he ever expect. On his fucking chest, tattooed in huge fucking font, is "Death to Kings" in French.
Oh,
Based.
That's why I never took his shirt off.
pretty based.
Wow. Yeah, again, French Revolutionary. Yeah, French Revolutionary. And he was like the son of, like, I think he might have been nobility, but he could have. A bunch of these marshals were like sons of cobblers and shit. So they went fucking hard in the French Revolution, and we can talk about that next time. Yeah. So the Swedish, again, why monarchies make no fucking sense. People will argue that, oh, monarchies are what's the best of all of us, but like monarchies make no sense in the term of the concept of the modern nation state, because most monarchs are not your nationality. The English monarchy is German. They're the House of Hanover.
Mhm.
The Swedish royal family is the House of Bernadotte. They're French. The Romanovs died with Peter the Great's line. Actually, Peter the Great had no sons that lived. From then on, you had the Romanov Holstein Gottorp line or whatever, the Schwerin or whatever. Yeah, so they're Germans. Catherine the Great, German. Peter the Third, great. From then on, and then they mixed with the Queen Victoria people. That's why Emperor Nicholas II, the last Russian Tsar, looked so much like his cousin George the Fifth or Sixth that they used to dress up as each other at parties, and people would not recognize them. They were all.
That seems like
Queen
a
Victoria
kink
was their
thing.
grandma. She was their grandma, both of them, and yeah, it was all one family. And Kaiser Wilhelm was like their second cousin, and they got into a fucking world war. Is the worst shit. I fucking hate monarchs so fucking much.
Same, bro.
Now, when you think about monarchs, what first comes to mind? This is therapy now.
Butterfly.
The guillotine, baby. No, it's. Well, I think about death. I think about a lot of fucking death, man. It's. Again, you can make the argument that back in the fucking old times or whatever, organizational absolute monarchy is a natural product of feudalism. It's kind of like capitalism, whereas early on in capitalism, you have these small businesses, but eventually they start to get bought up by bigger fucking entrepreneurs, and eventually you have cartels and monopolies. It's the same thing with feudalism. Feudalism has smaller landowners, but eventually they start to coalesce, and you have kingdoms. So, I guess in a way, in a very parallel way, absolutism is the ultimate expression of feudalist rule.
Hell yeah.
So on that intellectual fucking zinger, we can end tonight. And we can resume with the epoch of the palace coups that start almost fucking immediately after Peter draws his last breath. And
beautiful.
shit goes down until Catherine comes to power, but Catherine comes to power through a coup.
All right,
And
so
that'll be fun.
we are ending on we ended the last episode on Peter the Great. We're ending this episode on Peter the Great.
Yeah, and he was only called the Great by Jean-Jacques Rousseau because Catherine the Great asked him to. So God bless.
We've made a lot of progress.
Have we?
No, I think so. And we
made
had
it all the
we
way
had some
man's life.
interesting we had some interesting conversations.
It's nothing to be sneezed at. He was
Great.
I hate monarchs, but the term great, I think, is good for him because again, great does not mean good. He was truly
great means influential.
Peter the Great was indeed a great man.
Yeah.
He was.
He had a lot of
that.
power. He had a lot of influence.
Again, which is why there's some theories which reject the great man theory, and I'm all for that because that used to be the great man theory used to be historiography, but now there's of course socioeconomic forces and grand whatever, Leo Tolstoy and whatever, but you have to leave some room for individual actors. Peter the Great was an individual actor, and he did a bunch of shit, and he influenced not just Russian history, but European history. Russia is a player on the European map now for realsies.
Well, and Russia's always been a player on the European map, and
I think we covered that starting with the trade routes of Kiev and stuff. But now now it's for real. But immediately you start to get. But for now, you immediately start to get this historiographical thing happening with hordes of unwashed peasants, numerical superiority, and we will talk about in the 18th century. We'll talk about how Russian armies oftentimes are super outnumbered by their enemies in Western Europe. We can talk about that. But yeah, Peter put Russia on the map. Let's get it.
All right. Yeah. Well, we will end on that point. If you've listened so far, we love you. Please
First
take
of all,
your
why have you stuck around this long? Please stop.
You're ruining my exit. We love you. Please take your medicine.
Bitches. No, there are events. There are events we need to announce.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
So the 13th, the 14th, and 15th of this month. So August 14th and 15th, Foreign Object, along with three of us. There's Deleuze and Dragons, there's Beyond Woke and Problematic, and there's myself, Dank Deleuze. And we are putting on a memes and philosophy workshop where we will teach you how to put text on images. And we'll talk about Deleuze.
Let me just go ahead and say real quick, Deleuze and Dragons has given me more attention than I deserve, I think, sometimes.
Shout out.
Wholesome person for sure.
Yeah.
I mean me as like a account with 1,600 followers. We've done collaborative memes together and shit like that.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, shout out Potato Gang.
Yeah. And I mean you as well, but like we're friends in real life, so makes more sense. But Deleuze and Dragons has been a major proponent of the Benzo Rehab dungeons, so fealty given where fealty is deserved.
They helped me write my thesis, or helped me revise it. Great people all around. So again, 14th and 15th at 10 a.m. PST, both those days, we're doing that. And then that goes for like 3 hours. So I think it goes until 1. It's totally open to the public. You can find information for that on Foreign Object's Instagram page. It's Foreign Object with a K. I believe they also have a Facebook as well as a website you can just Google, which should also have information. And then bother the people at Bringing Down the Grindhouse, harass them viciously so that we can get around to doing episode 2 of that Witchcast.
BDGTH_podcast is the Instagram account there.
Indeed. And that's it for me.
All right. Yeah. I don't have anything else to share at this point. We took a week off because there's been a lot happening in my life. Thankfully, looks like things have calmed down. Not to make any excuses or anything like that, but
And also, I was gone, and how could you have gone without me?
easily.
You know.
No, like the major thing was my partner's had some surgeries for her health conditions, and he was pretty close to dying the week last and before, so we didn't record because of that.
And she didn't die.
And she didn't die, which
It's good.
way to be a
Seriously,
drama
all the
queen,
best,
right?
all the best to
That's
you
pretty
guys.
good.
Seriously.
No, yeah, no. Very, very glad that she's doing better now, and now I can start focusing on other projects I'm working on. So very grateful for that. Obviously we have more Russian history to do because we've only covered like Teddy said at the beginning of this maybe we'd cover 100 years, but I think we only covered like maybe
24. 24
years. Maybe 50 at best, but 24 according to him. So yeah, we have a lot more work to do here. We will set up a time to do the rest of this work off air, and yeah.
If there's still the political will for it. If there's not, I'm happy.
There is. There is.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. The political will is none of us have anything better to do.
We're monarchs here.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've listened to this point, we love you. Please take your medicine.
Please take mine too.
And save some for your friends.